led the Bulls to 6 championships in 9 years. A 13-time NBA champion as a player and coach over his career. We welcome Hall of Fame head coach Phil Jackson.
Well, there's the man, Michael Jordan. His brand new pair of Airs, that black look that he put on during the Cleveland series, and now even the coaches over on the sideline. One difference. Michael can afford to give away his after every game, which he does to a local charity.
And Phil can't.
Phil's got to wear his the rest.
When we called timeout with 25 seconds to go, we went into the huddle, and Phil told Michael, he said, Michael, I want you to take the last shot. And Michael said, you know, Phil, I don't feel real comfortable in these situations. So maybe we ought to go in another direction. Why don't we go to Steve?
Here's Jordan. Did not have the shot.
So I thought to myself, well, I guess I got to bail Michael out again. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Now this is the law of the jungle, as old and as true as the sky. And the wolf that keeps it shall prosper. The wolf that doesn't shall die. This law runs forward and back, that the strength of the pack is the wolf, and the strength of the wolf is the pack. This is a team game, and that the stronger the bond is between players, that's where the strength becomes. There's the belief that everybody should touch the ball, everybody had to be a part of what we were doing. That was the beginning of something that was to lead to this later life.
Guys, go man, everybody go game.
17 seconds from game 7 or from championship number 6. Jordan open. Chicago with the lead. If that's the last image of Michael Jordan, how magnificent is it? Chicago Bulls have won their 6th NBA championship, and it's their 2nd three-peat.
Michael's out. He's been retired for a year, and he comes to a ball game, and I said, let's meet in chairman's room after the game. I want you to talk to Kobe a little bit. So I get in this room, and he sits down, and he goes, first thing Kobe says is, I could kick your ass one-on-one.
But not even letting him get anything out.
There's no conversation.
What did Michael say back?
You might.
You might?
Just
He
might.
said you might?
Yeah, he said, I've been on the game a couple years. You just might.
Kobe, Michael.
I was still probably 99 when I'm coaching the Lakers. Michael's out. He's been retired for a year, and he comes to a ball game, and I said, I want you to talk to Kobe a little bit. He tends to take over a game at a certain time in the game, and I think that if you convince him to just be patient, allow the game to come to him when it's necessary, because the team kind of loses their offensive direction. So I get in this room, and he sits down, and the first thing Kobe says is, I could kick your ass one-on-one.
And he never answered the question who he thought was better, publicly. He did say later on that he gave Michael the edge over Kobe only because Michael had bigger hands.
Yeah.
And he could palm the ball off the dribble and do stuff that Kobe couldn't do. After that came out, you saw every time in the locker room, Kobe had vice grips. And he was strengthening his hands so that he could try to get to a point where, after Phil said that, was he trying to get to the point where he could palm the ball.
Speaking of Michael Jordan, there's always that great debate about who's the greatest of all time. LeBron James just passed Kareem as the all-time leading scorer. He's chasing perhaps his 5th championship this year. Phil, where do you weigh in on the greatest of all time debate?
You can't take anything away from either player. They're absolutely terrific players. You can only turn to the fact that Michael went to the finals 6 times and won 6 championships. 7th games. How many 7th games in the final series did Michael have to go through? And never did. That never happened. We won in 6 at the most. The reality is that the record stands, and that's what happens in careers. And the game has changed, and the players have changed, and how the game has been played has also changed. So, take nothing away from either player. It's still a fact that Michael went to the finals 6 times and won 6 championships.
What makes you the most happy?
One of my trainers said, the moment that we have to capture is when we're on the bus, leaving a visiting arena, we've won the game, and the fans are beating on the bus and yelling names at us.
And I gave him a call, and we talked a little bit about the offense, and he said, whenever you want to give me a call, just give me a call. And I said, okay, I will. And we had a nice conversation. I think it was about a half-hour conversation. Then next season, he's here.
I just had a chance to meet Kobe Bryant. He came upstairs before I came down here, and I think that from what I see of that player, he's dedicated, he's competitive. He reminds me a lot of Michael Jordan, and there's not too many players that have ever done that in this game.
I found him to be very serious about the game, which is kind of what I've expected, from talking to some of his players like Scotty. Conversations that I had with them just about generic stuff. It's just about generic things. But then when we start talking about basketball, it's like their whole demeanor changes and just completely in another world, just zoned out and very serious. And those are one of the first things I picked up about Phil.
We talked about mindfulness as being, as much as we pump iron and we run to build our strength up, we need to build our mental strength up. We need to build our mental strength so we can focus, get one-pointed attention, and so that we can be in concert with one another in times of need. When you come off the court, you've had a bad call, things going wrong for you, you sit on the bench, take a breath, and you reset yourself. And you do that through this mindfulness. You just come right back in and collect yourself. So we practiced mindfulness is what you have to do. Taught them how to hold their hands, where their shoulders had to be, the whole process of being in upright situations so that you're not slouched and you're not going to fall asleep. And they bought into it. I wanted them to get the idea of being able to do things that are just out of the ordinary, like Silence Day. So I tried to take things out of the ordinary and make them something special so they'd understand the difference. This is one of the things I talk about in the book, is about being authentic and coming from who you are and what you think is important. What did stick was meditation. That was always something that was able to stick.
We were down 15, and Phil, a lot of coaches, they panicked. No, he wasn't nervous. No way. He did not panic.
He panicked.
He didn't panic. A lot of coaches in that situation, you can see the panic in their eyes. You can hear the panic in their voice. He came in and said, okay, guys, we had a great season. Maybe we're not ready for this team. I'll see you guys next year. And then he just went back out. And then we started looking at each other like, what? Oh, you can't? No, hell no. I admit, I thought that, it was probably over too, but then...
So is it okay that we thought that too then? No. You were like, you counted us out? No. Even you thought that.
I said we. I said we as a team, not me.
There was a stretch in 2003 where Shaq was out with an injury, and Phil called me up to his office and said, okay, we need you to really turn on the afterburners and start scoring the ball if we have to win. So I did, and I wound up scoring, I think it was 9 straight games with 40-plus points. And then Shaq comes back, second to last game of that. Phil calls me up to his office and says, Kobe, I need you to dial it back. I'm like, why? Like, we're winning. I don't understand. It's because our goal is to win a championship, and we can get through the Western Conference with you playing this way. But in the East, we can dominate them inside with Shaq in the post. But if you continue to do this, we'll lose Shaq. We'll lose him. I need you to pull back so we can pull Shaq forward for June. Wow. And I just looked at him like, this is a smart dude.
Wow, that's
yeah,
really smart.
Yeah, that's one smart dude, man. So I pulled it back.
That's going to be 3 on Garnett. Walking around the drive. Bryant pulls up, rattles that one.
At either because of his son Mark Action Jackson II, graduating from Taft High School.
Nails that one. Bryant drives inside.
Find offense right now.
Bryant on the pull-up. Punch! Kobe Bryant will shoot free throws as Paul Pierce picks up his 3rd. Bryant looking. Artest, that's a 3. Bang! Lakers by 6 with a minute to play. Dribbles, puts up the 3. Won't go. Rebound to Gasol. Kicks it out to Odom. Odom throws it ahead. The Lakers repeat back-to-back titles. The LA Lakers, the 2010 NBA champions.
5 over.
One more to Shaq. So you can take that to the bank.
So out of 10 days.
Hey, man.
Would you be mad if I did that?
Nah.
Yeah, you would.
Nah, because you wouldn't win that one in an argument. It made it a lot sweeter because I know you have 4 and I have 5.
You God, I don't want to do this anymore.
And what can I say? Mamba out.
So in the words of Kobe Bryant, Mamba out. But in the words of us, not forgotten.
Gotta get a shot here.
Final seconds. Bryant for the win.
Look in my eyes, tell me your child, do you see the road? I'm out to my soul, and tell me the size whenever the smoke clear out of my face.
As I mentioned before, that a lot of it's intuitive. Who is it? Indiana Jones, in one of his films, Steven Spielberg's guy, was asked, what are we going to do next? And he says, I don't know, I'm just going by feel here. And that's kind of the way it is at times, that you have to follow your intuitive nature. But if you're not authentic or who you really are, people see through that pretty quickly, and especially ball players, because they're tuned in to people that have been selling them or making them buy things or using them since they've been 12, 13 years of age, and they have pretty good skill at, seeing that.
There was many times when I stood outside in the hallway and I could hear Michael carrying on in the locker room. Who's going to step up and stand beside me?
How would you help the players manage their competitive spirit and their recharge, but then also getting the mind right to be hungry and to go after it?
Just the fact that MJ has his hands and he can pick the ball up and deliver it.
Yeah. Could you convince Billy to let me go to Vegas for like 2 days?
Hey, TC, if you rebound like Rodman, I will.
So you be watching our games?
One of the greatest gifts that a person can have is to be able to listen and have that space where they can intuit and they can hear that voice or that voice of inner voice that's saying, let's pay attention to this, or let's give this some credence, or let's hear what this is all about. And that's just being in the moment, just being here now.
The atmosphere, the ground, if it's fertile, is ready, and people are willing to give this team a chance. This team has proven that it has fans in this town that support it.
I don't know if you know how hard it is to go to the CBA and spend 5 years and pay your dues in the CBA and ride those buses all that time and learn your trade. And he has done a tremendous job of learning his trade and then coming to the NBA and continuing that.
Well, there's the man, Michael Jordan. His brand new pair of Airs, that black look that he put on during the Cleveland series, and now even the coaches over on the sideline. One difference. Michael can afford to give away his after every game, which he does to a local charity.
And Phil can't.
Phil's got to wear his the rest of the way.
Phil Jackson, I don't think I'd wear that on a...
He led the Bulls to 6 championships in 9 years, a 13-time NBA champion as a player and coach over his career. We welcome Hall of Fame head coach Phil Jackson.